Okay, number 1, find the GCF of 8 and 12. So first, I want you to list the factors of 8. So you're going to make your T-chart and list all the factors for 8. Okay, next, list all the factors for 12. So do a T-chart and make your factors for 12. Okay, now look at your T-chart and locate the common factors. You're going to list all the common factors. All right, and now what is the GCF? What was the biggest factor they both had in common? All right, number 2. Find the GCF of 15 and 20. So list all the factors of 15. Now list all the factors of 20. Okay, now find all that they have in common. List the common factors. And finally, what is the GCF? Okay, so on number 1, the factors for 8 are 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. So your factors that you listed should have been 1, 2, 4, and 8. The factors for 12, 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. And you can put the multiplication sign in between, or you don't have to, it's fine. So for 12, you should have listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. List the common factors. 1, 2, and 4. So you should have listed 1, 2, and 4. And the GCF, the biggest one they have in common is 4. Number 2, 15 and 20. 1 times 15. 2 does not go into 15, but 3 does 5 times. 4 doesn't, and then we're back to 5. 20, 1 times 20. 2 times 10. 3 doesn't go into 20, but 4 does. 4 times 5. So now the common factors are 1 and 5. And then your GCF was 5. Okay? All right, number 3. Find the GCF of 21 and 35. Okay, so list the factors for 21. Okay, now list the factors for 35. All right, so now I want you to list all the common factors for 21 and 35. And what is the GCF? Okay, all right, so let's look at number 3. Your T-chart for 21 is 1 times 21. 2 doesn't go into 21, but 3 does. 3 times 7. 4 doesn't, because I can get 20. 5, nope. 6, nope. So that's it. We're back to 7. And then 35. 1 times 35. 2 doesn't go into it. 3 plus 5 is 8, so 3 doesn't go into it. 4 is not going to go into it, but 5 is. 5 times 7. And then 6 doesn't go into it, and then we're back to 7. So your common factors are 1 and 7. So that means your GCF is 7. Okay? All right. And the last one on this side, find the GCF for 6 and 18. All right. So list all the factors of 6. Okay. All the factors for 6. All right, now list the factors for 18. All right, now what are all the common factors? What is everything they have in common? Now what's the GCF? Okay, so number 4, your numbers were 6, and that's 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. And then your other number was 18, which is 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, 4 times 4 is 16, so that doesn't work. 5 times 3 is 15, and then 20, that doesn't work. And then we're back to 6. So our common factors are 1, 2, 3, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, and 6. So my greatest common factor is 6. Okay, remember, greatest common factor is the biggest number both the numerator and the denominator have in common. So what we were doing, we were pretending these weren't fractions, but because when you look at the paper, it just said find the great GCF of 8 of these numbers, right? So if I was to turn these into fractions and say this was 8 over 12, the greatest common factor is 4. So I'm going to divide the numerator by 4 and the denominator by 4. So remember I said you could use your T-chart. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. If you make your T-chart, your answer is right next to it. There's no moving around for it or having to remember what you divided by or what you can divide by to equal that number. Okay, 15 over 20. So if I make this one into a fraction, the greatest common factor for this one was 5. So we're going to divide the top by 5 and divide the bottom by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 3/4. Okay, if I turn this one into a fraction, 21 over 35, greatest common factor was 7. Okay, if you do a T-chart and your greatest common factor is 1, you don't do anything to it. It's already reduced. If your GCF, or the biggest number they have in common, is just 1, that means it is already reduced as far as it will go. Because anytime you multiply or divide by 1, you get the same answer. So if you do a T-chart for both your numbers and all you get is 1 that's the same, then you're done. As long as you've listed all your factors. See, if we didn't list all our factors, we would have missed the 7 here. So we're going to divide top and bottom by 7. 21 divided by 7 is 3. And 35 divided by 7 is 5. 3/5. All right, the last one, 6 over 18. GCF is 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. Okay, so we're dividing top and bottom by 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Okay, so what I did is I took the GCF and I divided the numerator and the denominator, right? Okay, so that's the first paper. Now here's the next one. Okay, it says find the GCF of each pair of numbers. But we're not just going to do that. We're going to do that, and then we're going to reduce. Okay, because I want you to reduce. So I'm going to write the fraction out, and then you're going to reduce it. Okay, so we're going to pretend like this is 6 over 15, 15 over 30, 9 over 12, 4 over 7, 8 over 10, 3 over 9, and we'll stop there and we'll come back to the rest of them in a minute. All right, so the first one is 6 and 15. So we're going to make a T-chart for 6 and 15. So you got 1 times 6 is 6. And 2 times 3 is 3. For 15, you should have got 1 times 15 and 3 times 5. So your GCF, they both have a 1, they both have a 3. So the GCF is 3. Okay? So on your paper, you're going to put 3. And then you're going to put the equal sign. We're going to put the fraction. So 6 over 15. Divide the top and bottom by 3. Okay. Six divided by 3 is 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So 2 over 5. Okay. All right. So we're going to find the GCF of these two numbers and put it. Then we're going to put the equal sign and find out what it reduces this fraction to. 6 over 15 is going to equal 2/5. All right. 15 and 30. So find the GCF of 15 and 30. One times 15, 3 times 5. Can you use a T-chart you've already made in previous problems? Absolutely. 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10. 4 doesn't go into it, but 5 does. 5 times 6. So this one has more factors. So let's look. We've got a 1. They both have a 3. They both have a 5. And they both have a 15. So you should have marked the GCF as 15. Okay. Your GCF is 15. So now reduce 15 over 30. $15 over 30, you're going to divide the top and bottom by 15. 15 divided by 15 is 1. 30 divided by 15 is 2. So your answer was 1/2. Okay, 9 over 12. So list the factors for 9 and 12. Okay, 9 and 12. 1 times 9, 3 times 3. All right. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. So they both have a 1, both have a 3. And so the biggest one is 3. I have 2 3s, but I can't use both of them, right? So then 9 over 12. When you divide the top and bottom by 3, 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, so your GCF was 3, and you reduced it to 3/4. Okay, so now look at 4 and 7. Find the GCF of 4 and 7. Okay, so now I want you to look and reduce 4 and 7. All right, so let's look. 4 and 7. 1 times 4, 2 times 2. 1 times 7. They both have a 1, and that's it. So remember what I said? If the GCF is only 1, then it has no way to reduce. Because if I take 4 over 7 and I divide it by 1, 4 divided by 4 is still 1. Or 4 divided by 1 is still 4. And 7 divided by 1 is still 7. It stays the same. There is no changing it. So the GCF was 1, and it equals 4 over 7. Okay, remember I said earlier that if the biggest factor they both have in common is only 1, then you don't need to do anything else to it. It's done. All right, 8 and 10. Find the GCF of 8 and 10. Okay, now reduce 8 over 10. What would 8 over 10 reduce to? Okay, 8 is 1 times 8, 2 times 4. 10 is 1 times 10, and 2 times 5. They both have a 1, they both have a 2, so the GCF is 2. Okay, we're going to circle the GCF. So now you take your fraction, 8 over 10, divide the top and bottom by 2, because that was the greatest common factor. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. 10 divided by 2 equals 5. So the GCF was 2, and we reduced it to 4 over 5. Okay. All right. Next one. 3 over 9. 3 and 9. So find the greatest common factor of 3 and 9. Okay, now reduce 3 over 9 using your greatest common factor. All right, so 3 and 9. 3 is just 1 times 3. 9 is 1 times 9, and 3 times 3. They both have a 1, and they both have a 3. Your GCF is 3. It's the biggest number they both have in common. So we're going to divide the numerator by 3 and the denominator by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 1/3. So your answer is 3 and 1/3. Okay? All right. 21 and 35. Find the GCF of 21 and 35. You might have that on your paper already. It's actually number 3 from earlier. Okay, 21 and 35. The GCF was 7, and when you reduced it, you got 3/5. Okay, 24 and 32. Find the GCF of 24 and 32. Okay, now reduce 24 over 32. Okay, so 24, 1 times 24. 2 times 12. Okay, 3 times 8. 4 times 6. And then 5 won't go into it, so I'm done with that one. Now, 32. 1 times 32. 2 times 16, because it ends in an even number. Okay, 3, can 3 go into it? No, because 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 3 would be, 3 times 11 would be 33, so no. All right, what about 4? Okay, be 4 times 8. 5, no. 6, No. 7? No. 8? And we have it. Okay, so I started with 1 and go all the way around, all the way down through the numbers from 1 to 10. All right, so this one might have several in common. 1, 2, 4, 8. Okay, so the other benefit of putting them in order, like I have been, is it's easier to see what they have in common. All right, so the biggest factor they both have in common is 8. So my GCF is going to be 8. So then you reduced it, 24 over 32. Divide the top and bottom by 8. Okay, 24 divided by 8 is 3. 32 divided by 8 is 4. So it reduced all the way to 3/4. So the answer was 8, and it reduced to 3/4. Okay, 15 and 25. Find the GCF for 15 and 25. Okay, GCF for 15 and 25, 1 times 15, 3 times 5. 1 times 25, 2 doesn't go into it, 3 doesn't go into it, 4 doesn't go into it, and then 5 does, and it's a double, so we're done. They both have a 1, they both have a 5. So your GCF is 5. Okay, reduce 15 over 25. Okay, 15 over 25, you divide top and bottom by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 3/5. So 5, 3/5. Okay, so in the next video, because you're going to have another one, you're going to finish out the last 9 problems, and then make sure you turn this into the tray, okay? So we got to finish the last couple of problems, and you need to watch the video, because even though you're turning the paper into the tray, I'm grading your work through the Edpuzzle. So make sure that you have kept up with your notes, because the sub is going to be checking the notes off. Make sure you are doing the worksheet, because the sub is going to be checking off that you're turning in the worksheet. And then I'm going to be looking at your Edpuzzle to make sure that you are completing it and answering all your questions. So you have plenty of work to keep you busy, so you should not be a discipline problem. Please remember that I have high expectations for you to be awesome. So please do not disappoint. Okay, I would like to come back that last week and have a fun time, even though I will be on crutches. So, okay, it'll be fine. I just need you to take care of your business and get things done. Okay, so video number 3, and we're going to finish the worksheet. So first thing I want you to do, 11 and 44. Find the GCF of 11 and 44. Okay, and then I want you to reduce the fraction 11 over 44. Okay, so 11 over 44 is your fraction. T-chart for 11. The only way to get 11 is 1 times 11, because it's a prime number. And then 44, 1 times 44. 2 will go into it 22 times. 3 won't go into it. 4 will go into it 11 times. 5 doesn't go into 44. 6 doesn't go into 44. 7 doesn't. 8 doesn't. 9 doesn't. 10 doesn't. So the only thing left is 11. So my common factors are 1 and 11. So your GCF is 11. Okay? So you should have divided the numerator and the denominator by 11. Circle my 11. So 11 divided by 11 is 1. And 44 divided by 11 is 4. So your answer is 1/4. So your GCF, you should have gotten 11. And for your reduced fraction, you got 1/4. Okay. All right. 20 and 30. So find the GCF of 20 and 30. Okay, now find the reduced fraction for 20/30. Okay, so 20 and 30. So I know 1 times 20 is 20. 2 times 10 is 20. 3 times a number doesn't give me 20, so I'm going to move on to 4 times 5. And then after 4 comes 5, and so we're done. That's all the factors for 20. Now, starting with 1 times 30. 2 will go into 30 15 times. 3 will go into 30 10 times. 4 does not go into 30, so I'm going to skip 4 and go to 5. 5 times 6. So those are my factors for 20 and my factors for 30. Underline the common factors. Okay, so all the common factors are 1, 2, 5, and 10. The greatest common factor you should have gotten was 10. You should have gotten that your GCF was 10. And then you divide your numerator and divide your denominator by the same number, which was 10. 20 divided by 10 is 2. 30 divided by 10 is 3. 2/3. So your GCF is 10. And when you reduce it, you get 2/3. Okay? Find the GCF of 4 and 6. All right. Now, find the reduced fraction for 4/6. Reduce the fraction for 4/6. Okay, you should have done 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. So your factors for 4 should have been 1, 2, and 4. Your factors for 6, 1 times 6, 2 times 3. If your T-charts are not looking like mine, then you need to rework them to make them look like mine. Okay? Common factors are 1 and 2. GCF is 2. Okay? I am working through every problem. You're solving it, and then I'm solving it just to kind of review it with you. So that means you need to be working them out. Okay? Miss Bond is going to be looking to see that you are working all these problems out. Okay, top and bottom divide by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And also, for those of you that think you can get away with, oh, Mr. Shell's giving us the answers. No, you're answering them in Edpuzzle. That's where I'm taking your grade from if I take a grade on it. Okay? Just because you change your answer on your worksheet doesn't mean anything. Everything is answered on Edpuzzle. Okay? Okay, 4/6. GCF is 2, and it reduces to 2/3. Okay? All right. 9 and 27. Find the greatest common factor of 9 and 27. Okay, now find you found the GCF of 9 and 27. Now reduce 9/27. Okay, so here's what you should have gotten. 1 times 9 and 3 times 3 are the only factors for 9. 27. 1 times 27. 2 doesn't go into it. 3, can 3 go into it? Okay, 3 will go into it 9 times. What about 4? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Nope. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Nope. 6, 18, 24, 30. Nope. 7, 14, 8. 7, 14, 21, 28. Nope. 8. Nope. So those are your factors. 1, 3, and 9. 1, 3, 9, and 27. Common factors are 1, 3, and 9. So the GCF is 9. 9 is the biggest number they both have in common. So you reduced by 9, dividing by 9 on top and bottom. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 27 divided by 9 is 3. 1/3. So you got GCF of 9, reduced it to 1/3. Okay, find the GCF of 14 and 16. Okay, make T-charts for the number 14 and number 16. Okay, so once you have the GCF, the next thing you have to do is divide the top and bottom by the GCF, or the greatest common factor. Okay, so reduce 14 over 16. Okay, there's your T-chart. This is what you should have on your paper. 1 times 14, 2 times 7, and that's it. 1 times 16, 2 times 8. Some of you will forget your doubles. 16 is 4 times 4. Okay, don't forget some of your factors. You got to list all the factors. So my common factors are 1, 2, and that's it. So that means you should have gotten a GCF of 2. Then you should have gone over and reduced the fraction by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 16 divided by 2 is 8. I didn't circle them. So 7/8. So your GCF is 2. And it equals 7 over 8. Okay? 5 and 11. Find your factors for 5 and 11 and list the GCF. Once you've found the GCF, now reduce your fraction using that GCF that you found. Okay, so here we go. We're going to try this again. Video number 4. I don't know why it dropped my video, but let's see. 5 over 11, you should have found the GCF for 5 and the GCF for 11. 1 times 5 is 5. That's all you've got. 1 times 11 is 11. Okay, so in this, if you look, 5 and 11 are both prime numbers, which means they only have 2 factors, 1 in itself. So that means GCF has to be 1. All right, so remember what I said. If the GCF is 1, then you're finished because you can't divide by 1. You're going to get the same number. So GCF is 1. The answer is going to say 5 over 11. Okay, so you will know your fraction is completely 100% reduced if your only factor that they have in common is 1. Okay? All right, 18 and 24. I want you to find the GCF for 18 and 24. Okay, now, once you find the GCF, then you have to reduce. Reduce your fraction. 18 over 24 is going to reduce to what? Okay, 18 over 24 is what you had. You did your T-chart for 18, T-chart for 24. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. Okay, 1 times 24. 2 times 12. 3 times 8. 4 times 6. So there are all my factors. I have 1, 2, 3, 6, and that's it. That's all I have in common, right? So the greatest common factor is going to be 6. So your GCF equals 6. So then you should have divided your numerator and your denominator by 6. 18 divided by 6 equals 3. 24 divided by 6 equals 4. So 18 over 24 has a GCF of 6 and reduces to 3 over 4. Okay? All right, 3 and 37. Find the GCF for 3 and 37. Okay, now look for the reduced fraction for 3 and 37. Okay, so the factors for 3 are just 1 times 3. The factors for 37 are 1 and 37. Is there any other factor that's going to go into 37? Nope, because 37 is also prime. So that means my GCF for this one again, and that's a G, is 1. So then we don't do anything to reduce that fraction. The GCF is 1, and it's going to stay 3 over 37. Okay, the last one, number 7. Oh, letter R, 7 and 63. Find the GCF and reduce. Okay, find the GCF and reduce. All right. So 7 over 63. So I'm going to do a T-chart for 7 and a T-chart for 63. So 7 is only got 1 and 7. Okay, 63 has 1 times 63. Okay, I know 2 won't go into it because 63 is not even. But I know 3 will because 6 plus 3 is 9. But how do I know how many times 3 will go into 63? Because you can divide, right? 63 divided by 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Bring down the 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And 3 minus 3 is 0. So 3 times 21. Okay, if you don't know that, then you should at least remember your divisibility rules. That's why we did the divisibility rules early in the year. Okay, if it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, it's going to be divisible by 2, which this one doesn't. If the sum of the digits, so 63, if the sum of the digits, 6 and 3, is equal to 3 or 9, it's going to be divisible by 3 or 9. And then if it ends in a 5 or a 0, it's divisible by 10, right? Okay, so 6 plus 3 is 9, so that's how I knew I can divide by 3 and get a number. All right, what about 4? Okay, 4 is not going to go into it. What about 5? No, because it doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. 6? No. What about 7? Is 7 going to go into it? Yep. 7 times 9. And then 8, nope. And we're back to 9. So see, you have to make sure that this is why we need to know all our multiplication facts. Okay? All right, so my factors are 1 and 7, my common factors. Your GCF is going to be 7. So you're going to divide the numerator by 7 and the denominator by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 63 divided by 7 is 9. 1/9. So LCM is, or GCF is 7, and you reduce it and get 1 over 9. Okay? All right. So you're done with that, except I want you to do a few problems in your journal. Okay? We're going to do some, I want you to add the fractions and then reduce it using the T-charts. So 2 over 5 and 2 over 4. Solve it and then reduce it. Okay, your common denominator is going to be 20. 5 times 4 equals 20. So times 4, 4 times 2 is 8. 4 is equal to 20 when I times 5. So times 5 in the numerator. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. Denominator is going to be 20. All right, so I'm going to do a T-chart for 18 and 20. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. They both have a 1, a 2, and that's it. The GCF is going to be 2. So divide the numerator and the denominator by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 20 divided by 2 is 10.